calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Biff Mills on Win FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
St. Kitts and Nevis listens to
Win FM 98.9.
Win FM 98.9. The radio station so hot, it's cool.
No, you're listening to 98.9.
98.9. Win FM. Radio never sounded like this.
Radio never sounded like this, sounded like this.
98.9. Win FM.
Win FM.
It's cool.
You don't know. You're listening to 98.9.
98.9. Win FM. Radio never sounded like this.
Radio never sounded like this, sounded like this.
98.9. Win FM.
Win FM.
Found the sound. 98.9. Win FM. WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of On the Ball here at Win FM 98.9. I am Troy Biff Mills, your host, and it's a wonderful feeling to be back again. But before I go there, let me say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night to you wherever you are. Of course, good evening to persons in St. Kitts and Nevis, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, those in the Leeward Islands, the OECS, the Caribbean, and when we step further afield into the diaspora, good morning, good evening, good night, good afternoon, whatever it is applicable to you. And it's another edition of On the Ball here at Win FM 98.9. Thank you for being with us this evening. I wasn't here last week as I was actually in Santo Domingo, and I must thank the St. Kitts and Nevis Olympic Committee for that. They selected me to attend a sports journalist training. That was 1 week, and Santo Domingo is a very, very beautiful place, and my, what beautiful ladies. I just had to close my eyes and put my hands over my ears because I got the impression they're so beautiful. I even started thinking, boy, I might have to take home 2 or 3 or 4 or half a dozen or a dozen of these ladies. But then I remember we have a lot back home. So I said, okay, now let me put up that until we get home. It was all fun. I stayed at a hotel there, Coral Carib. It's a 3 C's, CCC, Coral Carib something. And all inclusive, and I had a wonderful time. Boy, the beach, from where I could have seen, I saw a beach about 1.5 miles, 2 miles long, and it was like 50 feet perhaps wide, deep. So we could have played a good game of football, cricket on it, as the case may be. Wonderful white sand, nice turquoise water, and it was just absolutely food down there. Wonderful. I put on about 3/4 of an ounce with all this eating I would have done. I really had to cut back and say, boy, Biff, no, man, you lost some pounds. You've been working at getting it done. You can't afford to put it back on. So it was really a wonderful time. And I thank the St. Kitts and Nevis Olympic Committee once more for selecting me to attend that meeting, that workshop. And I learned a lot. I dabbled with photography back in the 80s and the 90s, and I thought I knew a thing or two. But that certainly wasn't the case, boy. Photography has advanced, especially sports photography. And it was really a tremendous thing learning about the do's and the don'ts. We covered quite a few topics, and it was wonderful. And let me give you an idea of the topics. And the session was actually in Spanish. And the translators, they did an excellent job. My, what a wonderful job these guys did. And we had something like 27 countries there at that session. It was held, the hotel was in Juan Polito. I can't remember the name. I probably have to ask somebody. But we had from the OECS, Antigua and Barbuda 1, St. Vincent and the Grenadines 2. We had Grenada 3, St. Lucia 4, St. Kitts and Nevis 5. So there were 2 of us from the Leeward Islands and 3 from the Windward Islands, 5 of us in all from the OECS. In terms of the English-speaking Caribbean, we had 1 from Trinidad and Tobago, that's 6, 1 from Barbados, that's 7, 1 from Jamaica, 8, 1 from Guyana, 9. So the big 4, they were represented. And stepping out, we had Guadeloupe, they were there as well. Suriname, they were also there. Puerto Rico, they were there. Now we step into Central America. Well, of course, the Dominican Republic, they were there. But when we step into Central America, we had Honduras, Nicaragua, Mexico was there. Did I say Suriname? Costa Rica was there, Guatemala, and from South America, we had Colombia, El Salvador, they were also there. Aruba was there. And that was about 20, I think I'm missing a couple. There were 25 countries, actually, but I've noted 20. I'll have to go back and check my records. And it was just a wonderful experience. The interpreters, they did a wonderful, wonderful job. And the young lady who was actually the organizer, the key person in terms of sending out the communication, etc. Lourdes, Lourdes was her first name, and I must commend her highly for that. She did an excellent job. The whole thing was organized by the Central Carib Sports, and it is basically an organization in America. And it was actually at the Coral Costa Carib Hotel. That's where it was held. And we had some wonderful presentations. That is what I was looking for, to give you an idea of the topics we covered. And we had things like sports marketing. Give me 1 second there. Let me pull it up. And this is the first, actually, of the inaugural one. They are going to be having follow-up ones. That's going to be coming down the line. And they are, obviously, it's not decided yet whether it's going to be every year or every other year. And hey, we had a wonderful time. We visited an infotech center, and that, that is like, how should I describe it? The technical center where they teach almost everything, especially when it comes to the arts and visual arts, performing arts. They train MCs there. They train lights, camera technicians. They teach you how to work on film, cameramen for films, lights. It was just an awesome experience. And the program covered, on the first day, we had approach in injury scenario and athlete recovery. That was in actually sports journalism. We had ethics in sports journalism, and that is a big thing. And the first one, Brian Fernandez from San Salvador, he presented, which was actually the second topic. Luis Mejia, he's the president of Central Carib Sports, and we're going to have him on the program one of these days. He is going down to Costa Rica, is it? Someplace in South America. He's going to be going down and spending some time, and when he comes back later on in the month, we'll be able to touch base and have him on the program for about a half an hour, and he'll tell us about Central Carib Sports. So he opened the session on Monday 23rd. Video footprints, Huelas. That's what this whole program is all about, Carib Sports Center. And then we had Brian Fernandez of San Salvador. He was speaking on the journalistic approach in injury scenarios and athlete recovery. We then had the Venezuelan Salvador Almia, that's the name, ethics in sports journalism. And these were powerful topics, powerful presentation. Rossi Alvarado of the Dominican Republic, he dealt with the use of new technology in sports coverage. And hey, the way technology is going today, we have not just still cameras, not just still pictures, video pictures, but we have drones, all kind of things happening. And drones are being used to tremendous effect. And we touched on that. Public Relations in Sports Organization. That was presented by Olitza Morel of the Dominican Republic. And these were awesome topics. On Tuesday the 24th, we had Juan Guerrero of Venezuela, digital strategies in sports fields. Alejandro Guacolia of Chile, Pan Am Sports. He talked about the Pan Am Sports. And of course, St. Kitts and Nevis, we are an integral part of that. We participate in that. And Nivel Camate, Reinas del Caribe in the Dominican Republic, athlete experience with media. And this young lady, if I'm not mistaken, she is a volleyballer, the captain of the Dominican Republic female volleyball team, and what they call them, queen of volleyball. And this lady, well, she has some height. She's a 6-footer and nice physique. And she spoke about it. There are times athletes, they're in a zone, and some of the time we as sports journalists, we choose the wrong time to approach them, to get interviews from them, especially when they're preparing for an event. And we have to be more considerate. And that's where ethics again came involved. And we had Jose Manuel Dominguez of Spain. TIC advances in Olympic cycle events. And he's from Boron Technology. Now, this was interesting because what he was speaking about, the technologies. You at home, you want to be able to see real-time scores, real-time distances, real-time times of athletes performing, etc., and get information about them, especially the sports journalists. When we are writing articles, we cannot just say, hey, Michael Louis, for example, if I'm looking at cricket, but they're concentrating more on the Olympic sports. And cricket is going to be an Olympic sport just now, by the way, in 2028 in Los Angeles, if I'm not mistaken. But we want to go in Michael Louis and say, well, yes, he played for the West Indies. He made his debut at Lords in England in January, and this is how many runs he made and how many runs he made in England. And you could zone back down that into the Leeward Islands tournament here where he played his first match, and it was 90. He made 94. He fell short of the century. How many balls, how many sixes, all these kind of things. Boron Technologies are saying that they could put them right there at your fingertips. Ernesto Beltre of the Dominican Republic, he dealt with sports photography. And the shots, what sports journalists do to make you feel like you're there. When you see a picture, we know from small days, since God say, hey, according to some people, that a picture is worth 1,000 words. I think we're going to have to change that, I think in today's world, a picture might be even 2,000, maybe even 5,000 words. It depends on the angle you take the picture, the lighting, the subject, the foreground, the background, all these kind of things. You send the story, you send the picture. And this gentleman, he's one of the top photographers in the Dominican Republic. He has his own business, of course, and he covers a lot of sport events. And I wonder what's up with him, because this guy says some of the time he climbs up on cranes and all these kind of things way in the air to get a shot. A good investigative reporter stops at nothing. Once they start, he or she starts investigating a piece, they stop at nothing to get the story, to get to the meat of the matter, to get to the facts and the figures, the real root cause, root situation. And a sports journalist, a photographer is like that, He goes to any lengths, any heights, any depths to get that picture, to tell you what is happening. And he did a wonderful job on Wednesday. Salvador Almeida, sports marketing structure in press conferences. Oh boy, press conferences, that's always a biggie. And these days, a lot of times athletes, it's part of the agreement that you have to expose yourself to a press conference before the event and after the event. And I have to touch our people here. in St. Kitts and Nevis, and perhaps the OECS, maybe even the Caribbean. The question is, do we prepare our athletes? And when I use the word athletes, I'm not just limiting it to track and field. Once you're involved in any kind of sports, football, cricket, basketball, you're an athlete. Table tennis, lawn tennis, did I say netball, men's netball, women's netball, hockey, sleigh and rowing. Do we prepare our athletes in the Caribbean enough? Do we do a good job with them to allow them to do a press conference or simple to do an interview? Gone are the days when the press, they are going to interview the captain of a team. No, them days done with. They are going to interview the key performer or the key performers. And you're playing a football match, your team wins 1-0, you may have scored the goal, you may be the MVP by scoring the goal, but maybe the goalkeeper was the MVP because he stopped 5 goals, clear goals, what should have been clear goals, magnificent saves, 1-on-1. So though you won, he was the MVP of the match, and they'll interview him or her, of course. And you have to make yourself available. You have to sound confident. And one thing I like with the Americans, once they're doing an interview, and check it out, don't believe me, check it out, whether it's basketball, the NBA, Major League Baseball, ice hockey, when you ask them a question, the first thing they always do most times is say, well, I like to give thanks to Almighty God for giving me the strength and the energy, etc., etc. And that is a good thing. Because the Almighty, He wakes us up in the morning, He covers us at night, etc. And He gives us the strength, the energy, the know-how. He allows us to go through life injury-free. So they start with that. And I was wondering, are these guys really serious? Are they really that spiritual, so much into spirituality that they mention that? But I was told not necessarily, It gives them the opportunity to think and get their thoughts together a few seconds before they actually answer the question. And yes, they mean it, and that is a good thing, but which is probably I might get some stick for it, but most times it may not be the primary reason. It's to get the thinking, but nonetheless, they mention that first, and it gives them that extra second or 5 to think about what they're going to say, how they're going to say it. And then they get in the meat of the matter. I like that. I like that because old people always tell you, think before you talk. And forgive me with the being colloquial, not think before you talk. And that is something we're doing. But coming back to our local athletes here in St. Kitts and Nevis, I remember way back when I was much more closely affiliated with the St. Kitts Nevis Football Association. It was back in 2009, I think it was 2010. Mr. Lenny Lake, he was the technical director of the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association. And he's really responsible, in my humble view, for our grassroots program here in St. Kitts and Nevis and coaches education. I've seen a few pictures of the football house with coaches dressed all kind of how, like Christmas and Carnival, this short pants and that long pants and all kind of color shirt. And we've come a long way since that. And similar to grassroots. And he worked, I think it was with Ambassador Christine Walwyn, with the under 15 team, I think it was back then. And them days, people like Mughead and Dajal Kelly, Clyde Mitchum out of Keon, and out of Spurs. A couple of people from all around. And they were in the under 15 program. And she actually was working with them in terms of interviews. And I think that's an excellent thing. I think that needs to be a standard part of the training of athletes. Irrespective of what event you are, what game or sporting discipline, you must be exposed to interview techniques. How you go about that. And have the athletes interview one another. You have mock interviews because you don't know when they are going to stick a camera and a mic in front of you. And that is something we have to do. We have to prepare our athletes. And just in case, in my humble view, if our athletes are going to be challenged in any way, I think it's only fair we inform the media so they could understand and the approach can be different. We need to be clear on that. Because if I have a speech impediment, for example, and I perform well and they come and they interview me, they're expecting me to speak normally like this, but if they understand I'm speech impaired or whatever, or hearing impaired, or even mentally impaired, as the case may be, their approach will be a little different. The questions, especially if they know who we are, what we are, and our limitations, so to speak. So I am suggesting that all our local associations, football, cricket, basketball, volleyball, table tennis, and as president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association, that is something that I'm going to ask us to do. Expose our athletes, children, male, female, it doesn't matter, because a lot of people camera shy, eh? I just tell people I'm very shy, especially when it comes to ladies. Nobody really believe me, especially when it comes to ladies. And even when the media and things like that, I am very shy, but it's just that when I have something to do, I do it. And I often wonder and think back, where did that shyness come from, so to speak? And my mom, I'm a Catholic, every Sunday she took us, me, Noah, and my sister Michelle or Shelley. When we went to church, she went in the back door. And she sat in the last pew, and that's where we sat. And if that pew was filled, we sat in the one in front. She was never a lady to go up in the front. So I kind of grew up with that. And Noah, I believe, grew up with that, but maybe he'll grow it and he'll grow it much faster than I did. And I think my sister, she hasn't outgrown it as fast as Noah did or I did. But of the three of us, at times and in certain spaces, she's a Christian. She's very shy. There are times she passed me on 4th Street and I see her coming and I stand up and just lean against the wall. And she passed me and said good morning and gone. She ain't recognized me because she doesn't like to look in people's face. But going back to the meat at hand, we need to train our athletes to do interviews, not just the captain, male and females, and do interviews. And we have to do mock interviews with them. But getting back to the program, where were we? Motivation in sports scenarios. Did I touch that? Alejandro Marti, motivation in sports scenarios. Gustavo Horando, experience acceleration. Cathy Longa and Richard Basil, coverage of the Olympic cycle. And I'm going to come back to that. Louis Mejia Ovidio, Project Footprints 2025, new stage integration of NOCs, that's National Olympic Committees, and Centenary Route Dissemination Platform by Central Carib Sports. They want to have a platform that national associations within Central America, well, let me say Latin America, Central and South America, that is, as well as the Caribbean, can access about athletes, performances, times, what have you. And so much so that part of the commitment is us, the sports journalists, producing content for magazines, radios, and televisions by the 15th of every month. So we have to send stories to them so they could actually have that television. And we're going to be exposed to it and translations, etc., etc. And we're on to Thursday. Thursday we had a field day. We went to Infotep, and there was an agreement between Infotep and Central Carib Sports, and that is down in Santo Domingo. It's about an hour drive or thereabout. And boy, but the hour could be a long hour when it comes to traffic creeping. And what they're going to do, especially we as sports journalists, they're going to try and work us and incorporate us into their programs. So we dial in when they're having training and we be part of the class. And I like that. Centro Olímpico Juan Pablo Duarte, coverage practice, visit to the Felix Sanchez Olympic Stadium. Felix Sanchez, the double gold medalist in the 400-meter hurdles. We've been to the stadium there. They are undergoing some renovations because FIFA is going to be hosting an under-17 football championship there. And we actually visited Channel 4 and Teleradio America. That's a radio and television station. And we had a chance to undergo some interviews. They interviewed us, and I was privileged and fortunate to be part of the first interview, which was done myself and a gentleman from Cayman Islands. And we're going to be doing collabs down the road. And the gentleman, Sifu, I think his name is, I can't remember, but we've already linked up. The Cayman Islands football team, they're going to be playing, and we are going to be linking up to look at them, both teams. So a lady from Guadeloupe who speaks both French and Spanish, she interviewed the both of us. So she did the English and the Spanish translations, and it was a wonderful experience. And then Friday, we actually completed the program. And one of the key things about all of this, and we must thank the organizers, the Central Carib Sports, they gave all the participants a still and video camera kit. A camera, EOS R100, N100, R100, something like that. And a nice little miniature camera, nice and light and small, very powerful. So we as sports journalists can go out and take pictures, take videos, and create content. We also have to write articles and submit to the Central Carib Sports to be put in their magazines, which we're going to be exposed to here in St. Kitts and Nevis, of course, and radio and TV about us and Olympic sports. So I am going to be working extremely close with the St. Kitts and Nevis Olympic Committee. And there were a lot of people here from various experiences. There's a gentleman from Jamaica. He has been the sports journalist for the Reggae Boys, pardon me, since in the 1970s. He's been going around with the Reggae Boys all around the world when they're going to play football, be it competitive matches, be it friendly matches. And he is actually reporting back to Jamaica on the athletes and the training and the games, etc., etc. He covered the Olympics for the Jamaican Olympic teams several times, as to have other of the journalists that were present on the course. And that is something that we here in St. Kitts and Nevis haven't done much of at all. I am remembering that there were only on 2 occasions perhaps, and I'm subject to corrections, a note is what I am aware of, that we would have sent any sports journalists to cover any games, football, track and field with us. And I think, was it Andre Huey, who would have gone to cover football a few years ago? Was it a Gold Cup? I can't remember. And I think, was it Chauncey Brooks, who would have gone to cover track and field or volleyball or something like that somewhere. Obviously, it's an economic issue. And the meat of the matter is, one, we have to take sports much more serious. And I'm not talking just football or cricket or track and field. Yes, they are the bigger games. But what about the minnows, the table tennis, for example? And table tennis is probably one of the least expensive sports you could get involved in. You get a good racket. Yes, it costs maybe $300 US. You get a good pair of shoes. And those are basically all your personal expenses. The Table Tennis Association, we provide the tables for you to practice on. In some cases, there may be robots. You have your own bats. You can buy your own balls. We provide balls. And Unlike cricket, if I wanted my 4-year-old son, 5-year-old son to get involved in cricket, and I think I need to work on that, to get to get him involved in the sports. But could you imagine a pair of boots, batting boots, going to be like 500 EC, a pair of bowling boots, another 500 EC, a pair of pads. Everything seems to be averaging like $500. So that's $1,500 for a pair of pads. A pair of tips might be $300-400. But let's round it off for $5. That's $2,000. You're going to want a helmet, another $500. That's $2,500. You're going to want, if you're serious about your cricket, you're going to have 2-3 bats. But let's say it's just the one bat, another $500-600. So right off the bat, we're like $3,000-4,000 there. You're going to want a bag to carry your kit in. You're going to want arm guard. You're going to want a cup. You're going to want thigh pad, outer thigh pad, inner thigh pad, chest pad. So yeah, you're spending about $4,000-5,000, all to good effect. Because sportsmen and women make a lot of money these days. And I came across some information with how much these sportsmen and sportswomen they be getting, and we're talking about millions of dollars. So once ago, when you misbehaved in school, and your teachers told you, go and stand up in the corner, or go and play football, or go and play cricket, or even go to dance as a means of punishment, for want of a better expression. Little did they know that they were actually creating something beautiful. They thought they were punishing you, but had the parents and had the children, were they to have had the vision, they would have realized by sport and culture, the arts, that's it. Where you have footballers getting 500 or 100,000 pounds a week and all these kind of things, and 60,000 pounds a week playing football, cricket, or whatever. Some of us ain't gonna make the money in life, but be that as it may, we as a people, we as communities, we have of the government of any country, we have the country itself. We need to take sport much more seriously, and we need to have greater investments. The corporate community, because obviously the government cannot do it alone. Yes, the government can do their part by ensuring that they have facilities. Like we are saying in the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association, we don't have a home of any sort. We practice in community centers around the island. Some of the time we go there, somebody having dance class, there's a wedding, there's a meeting, and we understand that. And some cases we are told about it, so we know we're not going to have it this afternoon as usual. But we want to have a place, table tennis, where you go and every day from 4 o'clock to 11 p.m., 4 p.m. to 11 p.m., you could walk in there and play table tennis. And Saturdays it could be from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., I don't know. But a place where we call home for table tennis. Basketball has been asking for that. Volleyball has been asking for that. Notwithstanding, they have their facilities. But a lot of these, of course, table tennis is an indoor game. But if we were to have at least a multi-sports center, multi-complex center, sporting complex, indoor, we will be able to attract greater and bigger competitions, because there are minimum standards that we'll have to meet. For example, when back in the 80s, when we held the Davis Cup between the OECS and Ecuador, we had to have a minimum of 3 table tennis courts, I think, and they were to have had specific standards, which a lot of money was spent. I remember in 1993, when the government back then, of course, this was done before, but in 1993 we were able to hold the Northern Telecom West Indies Under 19 cricket tournament here in St. Kitts. And we had grounds. The then government were able to build grounds all around the island. And not only build, but upgrade in some cases. And that is where Shanda Paul, he played for Guyana. And it's from there he went on. He and Junie Mitchum, Chicken as some of us may know him, those two I could recall, went on to make the West Indies on the 19 team for that year. They went to England, and from that, Shanda Paul went into the West Indies team. Of course, he would have played for Guyana, etc. But we're talking Shanda Paul as a little boy, and because of those facilities around the island. And I think per capita in the Caribbean, we might very well have the most facilities per capita and very good facilities. That's why we're having, and we have had West Indies on the 50 female 50 overs competition, T20 competition, because there were 3 adequate venues. And right now we're having the Leeward Islands 50 over tournament, which I'm going to touch. But getting back to the Central Carib, again, I thank the hosts for it. And there's a young lady, Lourdes. She would have done all the administrative element, the interpreters. They were 2 young ladies, and they did a wonderful job because it was presented in Spanish. And it made me feel like I could talk Spanish. So again, we thank Central Carib Sports for putting that on, that program, as well as the St. Kitts and Nevis Olympic Committee for selecting me to attend. And we're going to hear a little more about it as time goes on. Now, we come back home to cricket. The Leeward Islands 50 overs competition that is happening. We have 5 countries here in St. Kitts. All the matches are being played here in St. Kitts. We have St. Kitts, the host country. Nevis participating. Anguilla is also participating. We have Antigua and Barbuda. And I like the idea about this team the most. The combined islands. Not Leewards and Windwards combined, but combined countries. We have players from Montserrat, players from the British Virgin Islands, players from the US Virgin Islands. Those 3 units, 3 islands, 3 countries, couldn't fund a team to participate in its entirety. So rather than having 2-3 players here and there who actually couldn't be part of it, they decided that they're going to come. The Leeward Islands board decided that they're going to come and have them be here to have more matches, to expose more players, because it's actually happening. There are 5 teams here. 2 matches are being played every day, 50 over competition. 1 match at Connery from 9:30 in the morning, and the other match in Warner Park from 9:30 as well. And I'm going to take a break, and when we get back, I'm going to give you an idea of the scores, how it has been going, and I'm going to give you a little more information on that as soon as I get back. Just give me a second here.
The importance of co-parenting. Every child has the right to bond with the parent that gave them life. Children are happiest when they can freely communicate and enjoy the time, talents, and lessons that each parent brings to the relationship.
We make co-parenting difficult when we focus on differences rather than what is in the best interest of our children. Parents, your relationship with each other should never affect the relationship you have with your child. Celebrate your children together. They deserve your best. A message brought to you by the Department of Probation and Child Protection Services. Contact us at 467-1311 or 662-6833 for more information.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune into On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on Win FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and of course your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Biff Mills on Win FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune into On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on Win FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and of course your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Biff Mills on Win FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball. Welcome back to On the Ball here at Win FM 98.9. And of course I didn't say it, but it's like a standing order. You can call in at any time in the program, 4660989, or you can WhatsApp me, 668-2055. And I got a stick-in for that, not last week. I was in Santo Domingo last week. We didn't have a program. The week before, when we had Mr. Hugo of Antigua and Barbuda live and present with us here in the studio, I got a beating, and it was justifiably so. A few persons met me, they wanted to call in and interact with you, but I didn't say the lines are open. I thought that was understood, but I needed to make it clear, and I do apologize, callers, and I appreciate the fact, those of you who called me, those of you who met me and lambasted me, as old people would say, that I didn't open them. But tonight, we don't have a guest with us. We have information we want to share with you. And next week, God's spare, we're going to be having another guest with us. And we'll let you know, of course, by the flyers we share. But so I'm just sharing information with you. Tonight, we have some football to talk about. We have cricket to get into. I would have touched the Central Carib Sports Photo Sports Journalist Lisman Sports Chronicle training program that I went on in Santo Domingo from the 22nd to the 28th of September. And well, before we get there is going to be general elections for the ITTF Americas for the executive, and that takes place on the 11th of October. That's next week, God's spare. and St. Kitts and Nevis, we are hoping to be present to cast our vote in person. And that is not something about just going to cast votes. We're going to be meeting a lot of heavyweights there. We're going to be interacting with people. We're going to be seeking sponsorship for equipment, for boards, for paddles, for balls, for robots, for uniforms, for national team, even shoes. There are specific shoes for table tennis. Most times we're playing regular slippers, but there are specific shoes for table tennis. So we're going to be going out to to try and get these equipment and uniform, not only for the national team and national players, but for schools and the communities, because it is the intention of the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association to, one, have a table tennis board in all community centers in St. Kitts and Nevis. Why the community? Because the primary schools will have access to the boards there, the high schools will have access to the boards there, the communities will have access to the boards there. Some may argue, why not have them in schools? One, there are more community centers than there are schools in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. There are 34 primary schools, I think. 34 schools. 19 primary schools in St. Kitts. There are about 5 or 6, 7 in Nevis. There are 8 high schools in St. Kitts and another 3 or so in Nevis. So it's better to put the table tennis boards in the community centers, because you don't want to have them in the schools. And one, when people want to go and practice, we're going to be disturbing the students and preventing them learning. And two, we won't be able to access them at certain times out of school hours. And the logistics make it better for us to have the boards in the community centers. And even though the community centers would be unavailable to us at some point, but what we find at the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association, the St. Paul's Community Center, that seems to be the community center that best serves our need in terms of space and being able to accommodate table tennis boards. That could easily hold at least 6 table tennis boards, and comfortably. And we had a camp there at the 14th of September. We got 13 students from around the island, aging from 6 years to 16. And to give you an idea, a table tennis board is about 4 feet 9 inches by 8.9 feet times 4.9 feet. So it's a little bigger than the size of a sheet of plywood. A sheet of plywood is 8 by 4 or 4 by 8. So this is 4.9 times 8.9 feet. So could you imagine a sheet of plywood? You could get a sheet of plywood and learn to play effectively on that, because it's just about the same size. And St. Paul's holds it beautifully. So when we're going to be having our national championships later down in December, it may very well be possible that we are having it there. More so, we are having an ITTF-sponsored table tennis MA, Member Association activity, from the 29th of November to the 7th of December, where we are going to be having level 1 table tennis coaching course for 30 coaches in St. Kitts and Nevis. And they're not just from the clubs. And you have to be members of a club, and your club has to be bona fide member of the SKNTTA. So if you who are listening, Peter Jones, Mary Jane, man or woman, and you want to become a qualified, certified level 1 table tennis coach in St. Kitts and Nevis, the first thing you'll have to do is join a club. And there are 5 clubs in St. Kitts at the moment, and 1 in Nevis. We have Club Freeman and Freeman. Coach Irvin Freeman, he is in charge of that, and he's over in the Saddlers region. We have Challengers Table Tennis Club, and Mr. Dennis Bowers out of Challengers, he is in charge of that. We have In the Loop Tennis Club, Calvin Lake, the immediate past president of the SKNTTA, a national coach. He is in charge of that. And he's centered around the St. Peter's area. We have the Sandy Point Table Tennis Association. They are members, Mr. Quinton Morton. He is the president of that association. And why an association as opposed to a club? Because in Sandy Point, we are thinking about having member clubs be part of the association, just like how we have Spafford Football, where you have Crabil, the Alley, Crabil Football Club, the Alley Football Club, Fig Tree, Cleverly Hill Football Club, Saho, etc., Rastafari Football Club, all club members of the Sandy Point Amateur Football Association. That's what we're thinking with the Sandy Point Table Tennis Association. And then you have Lyamega Table Tennis Association with Calypsonian King Craig McDowell. He is the president. And over in Nevis, we have the Nevis Table Tennis Club, Mr. Gary Wade. He's the man in charge of that. So touch base with any of them. So to be able to attend that level 1 coaching course, and we are inviting members to come on board. We're accepting new members. Membership is only $100 per year. So Central Bank, you want to be a part of the Table Tennis Association, you register, no problem. The Police Sports Club, Casper Sports Club, Custom Sports Club, Skelec Sports Club, Social Security Sports Club, the Teachers Union, if you want to become a member, Fire and Rescue Services, Immigration Officers, all of you can come. Individual banks, you can come, our collective banks, you can become members of the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association. Easy $100 to register. You complete a registration form, your club structure, your members, etc. And your members would be able to attend that, will be able to attend that level 1 coaching course coming up next month, God's Spear. 30 maximum. And of course, we're going to be inviting some teachers from some coaches who work in the Department of Sports, both in St. Kitts and in Nevis, to attend. And that's for 5 days. And then the other 5 days will be a training camp for a maximum of 30 children between the ages of 8 to 16 again. And the coaches who actually underwent level 1 training coaching sessions, they are the ones who are going to be coaching and administering the camp. And the expert, Miss Elena Edwards, out of Trinidad and Tobago, she's the expert who's going to be coming. That will be part of the supervised coaching session, which is something mandatory by the International Table Tennis Federation, the ITTF. So you're not only undergo the training, you have to put in certain hours of coaching, whether you're club, schools, community, national team, of which some of it must be supervised. And we're talking like 30 hours being supervised. So she's going to be here. She's going to supervise the bulk of the hours. And give me a call, 668-2055, if you're interested. Or you can call the treasurer of the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association, Mr. Craig McDowell, 765-9537, in case you want to attend this training as level 1 or you want to become members. So we intend to expose our children, our coaches, to these training sessions around the island. And again, a table tennis board is just a little over length and width of a sheet of plywood, 4.9 feet times 8.9. And again, the lines are open, 466-098-966-0989, or you can WhatsApp me, 668-2055. And while we're at it, we're inviting you to become part and parcel of this program by coming on board in terms of sponsoring the program, whether partially, wholly, for a specific period, for the entirety of the program. And just a reminder, next week is going to be 1 year since the program is on stream. Next week, the 8th of October, we started our first program On the Ball on the 10th of October 2023. Gosh, a year gone by so fast. Wow, and we've had the privilege of interviewing all the national associations here in St. Kitts and Nevis, save and except 2, which we have contacted, but the timing wasn't the best, and we'll have them, because this is not just a sports program that brings information to you and tell you who win the game and scores. We interview athletes, we interview national associations, we interview officials, so you can have an idea what's going on deep within the bowels of these national associations and the athletes, the lives of the athletes, officials, etc. Now we go to cricket. I was talking about the Leeward Islands 50-over tournament. There are going to be 2 games played daily over a 5-day period. The first 2 games were on Sunday last, which was the 28th of September, was it? No, Biff. You're falling asleep, yes? Sunday was the 29th. Yesterday, the 30th, today, the 1st. There were another 2 games. They're going to take a break tomorrow, Wednesday, the 2nd, and come back Thursday, the 3rd, and Friday, the 4th. And let me tell you what we have happening here in terms of the games. In the first game, Combined Islands senior team, men team versus Antigua and Barbuda at Warner Park. The Combined Islands, they made 173 all out in 39.3 overs. And we had a very good knock from an opener. If I could only get this open, he made 96. Very unfortunate not to have had his century. And 173 for 10, the Combined Islands. Avishkar Sukaram, 96 from 109 balls. He batted 3rd. He had 5 4s and 7 6s. And he suffered some cramps, so he batted for 150 minutes. So perhaps the heat, and it has been very hot in both Warner Park and Connery, and the breeze hasn't been so stiff. So he's the only score that got above 18. Could you imagine that? And the bowling for Antigua and Barbuda, so Kareem Ago, the captain, 7.3 overs, 34 runs, 4 wickets. 2 wickets for Kofi James, Jawaki Joseph, and 1 for Javier Spencer. In terms of Antigua and Barbuda, leading the way was Joel Andrew, who was the wicketkeeper. That's a 17-year-old youngster who played for West Indies under 19. He batted at number 549. He missed his half century. He came not out. They ran out of runs. Not time, they ran out of runs because Antigua needing to score 173. They were 174 for 5 from only 18.2 overs. And Joel Andrew was 49 in terms of wickets. Ranil Jeffrey, 2 overs, 18 runs, 2 wickets. Samuel Jones, 5.2 overs, 40 runs, 2 wickets. Joel Williams had 1. And that was the first game at Warner Park. Over in Connery, Anguilla locked horns with Nevis. Anguilla were 173 for 10 from 41.3 overs. Nevis 138 for 10 for all out from 33 overs. Anguilla won by 35 runs. And if we look at the scorecard, for the Anguilla team, we had 49 coming from the captain, Dimitri Adams. He batted at number 4. 49 from 65 balls. And that was Ashan Hodge, the opener, 29 from 50. Andros Bowens batting down the other, 21 from 50. Wicket takers, Acadiento Willett, the chief wicket taker, 6 overs. And remember, each bowler can bowl 10 overs maximum. 28 runs, 3 wickets. 2 wickets for Kimani Nisbet from 5 overs, 14 runs. Jaden Carmichael, 2 wickets from his 10 overs, 52 runs. 1 wicket apiece for Onanje Amory and Theron Busu, the captain. And when the Nevis team batted, Jaden Carmichael batting down the order at number 9. He was 43 from 33 balls, the top scorer. Acadian to Willie, 36 from 55. Carlon Tuckett, the wicketkeeper, 27 from 50. And the wicket takers, Dimitri Adams, the captain. He's a right arm leggy. Opening the bowling, 10 overs, 25 runs, 1 maiden, 3 wickets. He was the chief wicket taker. Shami Keiko Landerford, the other opening bowler. He's a pacer, a young pacer. 2 for 16 from 4. Mark Gukaram, 2 for 36 from 7. 1 wicket apiece for Andros Boys and Ashley White. So the Anguillians winning that match. That's day 1. On day 2, the 30th, that's Monday the 30th, at Warner Park, Anguilla senior men came up against St. Kitts and Nevis. Anguilla 185 all out, St. Kitts 189 for 1. Why, as people say, that's a lot of blows, boy. A lot of bat. And if we look at the Anguilla batting 185 for 10, we had Jadel Richardson not out, 39 from 56 balls. He batted number 8. Chesney Hughes. Chesney has been around for a long time. He played in a game in the park today and he was looking really good. He's put on some height, put on some body, but he's still technically sound. He had 36 from 54. And in terms of the bowling for St. Kitts, Jerickson Louis, the younger brother to Mikael Louis and Jeremiah Louis, he was first change. 5 overs, 25 runs, 3 wickets. And Tariq Newman, the left arm spinner, 10 overs, 1 maiden, 35 runs, 3 wickets. 2 wickets for Tristan Hanley, 1 wicket apiece for Sheena Berridge opening the bowling, and Clayton Skeet. And when the Kittitians batted, Mikael Louis, 94 from 65 balls, 7 fours and 7 sixes. Terence Ward batting at number 3, he was 52 not out. Larry Odin, 36 from 65. This was a really onslaught. Mikael Louis, this is interesting. Listen to this. Mikael Louis, he was out the first and only wicket to go for St. Kitts. He made 94 and the score was 116 for 1 in 18.1 overs. That's a lot of stick, a lot of bat, a lot of wood. And if we go to the bowling for Anguilla, Dimitri Adams, the opener, 10 overs, 1 maiden, 53 runs, 1 wicket. Now we go to the other game, Anguilla versus Antigua and Barbuda. No, not up there yet. Nevis versus Antigua and Barbuda. Nevis 254 for 5 from 50 overs. Antigua and Barbuda 255 for 3 from 41 overs. So therefore they won by 7 wickets. And if we look at the scoreboard, Nevis, Ross Powell, 95, opening the batting, 95 from 132 balls. Another player to give away a century. He had 9 fours, 1 6. Shelton Forbes, batting at number 3. He had a half century, 50 from 69 balls. And Jamie Cornelius, the opener, he gave away a half century. Literally gave away 45 from 64 balls. The bowling for Antigua and Barbuda, Kelvin Pittman, the chief destroyer, 7 overs, 46 runs, 2 wickets, 1 wicket apiece for opener, and Pittman opened the bowling 1. Glenton Williams and Jawaki Joseph, 1 each down the order. And Antigua and Barbuda batting, opener Kadim Tyrone Williams Jr. He was not out 125 runs. A well-played century, and I think it was chanceless, if I am not mistaken, from 115 balls with 11 fours and 5 sixes. Kadeem Henry, the other opener, he missed out on a half century, 47 from 52 balls. And Kareem Ago, the captain, 35 from 43 balls. The only 2 wicket takers, Teran Busu, the captain, the third change, 10 overs, 45 runs, 1 wicket. And the fifth change, Jamie Cornelius, 1 over 9 runs, 1 wicket. And that game was Monday. And if we go to today's game, or today's games, St. Kitts came up against the Combined Islands. Combined Islands 121 for 10. St. Kitts 122. And Combined Islands from 31.1 overs. St. Kitts 122 for 2 from 16.4 overs. They were going great guns, man. And if we look at the results, I'm seeing St. Kitts, but I need to see that for the Combined Islands first. I'm having a little challenge getting that, but here we are. Scoreboard. Combined Islands. Doyle Jones, 26 from 18, opening the batting. Alexi Bedford, 20 from 48, opening the batting. And Joshua Grant, the wicketkeeper, I think he's out of Montserrat, batting fourth, 24 from 33, the only people to get into the 20s. In terms of the wicket takers, Cameron Pennyfeather opening the bowling, 6.1 overs, 1 maiden, 30 runs, 2 wickets. He opened with Jeremiah Louis, who just had 3 wickets for 13 runs and didn't touch a pad. Terence Ward, the captain, second change, 5 overs, 1 maiden, 17 runs, 2 wickets. Tristan Hanley, he was the fifth change, 4 overs, 2 maidens, 13 runs, 2 wickets. 1 wicket apiece for Jerexin Louis and Caden Francis, as well as Tariq Newman. So when it came to the batting of the St. Kitts and Nevis team, Mikael Louis, he failed. He got 13 from 11 runs. Larry Odane, half century, 53 from 57 balls, and he was not out. So that was a wonderful knock from him. And Jaleel Clark, the wicketkeeper, 14. Cameron Pennant for the 12 not out. 1 wicket apiece for Brian Joseph, 4.4 overs, 23 runs, 1 wicket. Samuel Jones, 4 overs, 27 runs, 1 wicket. So that was St. Kitts taking care of business. And what perhaps was the feature match ended in a situation. The video replay will have to determine what was the correct decision, because an extremely close game. Antigua and Barbuda 284 all out from 46.5 overs. So Anguilla doing a tremendous job. 1 keeping Antigua and Barbuda below 300. 2 outing them down entirely before the 50 overs. Anguilla needing 285 to win. 283 all out in 49.4 balls. Boy, that was extremely close. And in terms of the batting for Antigua, Isan Warner batting at number 3 is a left-hander, and he was looking good for 57 from 81 balls, 4s 1 6. Kareem Ago, the captain, batting at number 4. He missed out on a half century, 46 from 50 balls. And Joel Andrew, the wicket keeper, not missing out at all, not making any mistakes, 72 from 44 balls with 8 4s, 4 6s. The top scorer for the Antiguan and Barbudans. Kofi James, he was batting at number 3 in the first few matches. They dropped him down to number 6, and that worked. He had a runner ball, 53, 4 4s, 1 6. And in terms of the wickets, Ashley White, one of the top joint wicket takers, 8 overs, 53 runs, 3 wickets. And he was first change. Jadal Richardson, 9.5 overs, 62 runs, 3 wickets. 2 wicket apiece for Dimitri Adams, the captain, and Andros Boyens as well. Now when the Anguillians went into bat, at one point it looked like they'll get there, another point it looked like they didn't get there, and they were getting there. At the end of it, Ashawn Hodge, the opener, he had 66 from 85 balls, 7 fours, 2 sixes. His opening partner, Keyshawn Richardson, had 52 from 92 balls, 8 fours. The opening partnership was 115. First wicket went at 115, 26.6 overs. Chesney Hughes, the man of the moment, batting at number 4, 78 from 54 balls, 3 fours, 7 sixes. And he was the last man to go, attempting to equalize the score. And he was judged to be run out by the umpire at square leg. I'm not going to tell you it was me. And of course, that created a lot of discussion and a lot of doubt whether it was out at all, whether the wicketkeeper broke the stumps, whether the ball hit the stumps directly. But the argument is Chesney was home. Neither the ball nor the wicketkeeper broke the stumps, but the umpire said out. So the match ended with 2 balls to go, 49.4 overs, with them needing 1 more run to equalize to win. And Chesney was in really tremendous form. Who knows? Maybe he could have gotten there, but we won't know. And in terms of the wickets, Kadeem Henry. Now, this is interesting. I heard about him, but he was on display for this game. He bowls with both his left hand and his right hand, and he bowls beautifully with both, control, direction, etc. So he could bowl as a left-hander or he could bowl as a right-hander. I'm talking about spinning. He had 10 overs, 2 maidens, 49 runs, 6 wickets. He picked up a sixer. I think he's the only person with a sixer in the tournament so far. 1 wicket apiece for Jawaki Joseph, the opener, L.Y. Francis Jr., the first change, and Kareem Agor, the captain. So that is how the games went today. And tomorrow is a rest day. And what we are going to see happening on Thursday, it's going to be Combined Islands versus Anguilla. And that is going to be at Warner Park, while Nevis is going to play St. Kitts. And no, that game is going to be at Connery. Nevis is going to play St. Kitts at Warner Park, both games starting at 9:30 p.m. And then on Friday, Antigua would come up against St. Kitts and Nevis at Warner Park, and Combined Islands will come up against Nevis at... Hold on, I'm missing something here. When is the St. Kitts Antigua game? And you, oh no, yes, ANU, that's St. Kitts and Nevis. They'll come up against, that's Antigua and Barbuda. They'll come up against St. Kitts on Friday. That game is at Warner Park, while Combined Islands versus Nevis will be happening over at Connery. So go on out and support the cricket. We have 4 more matches left. So please go on out and support them. Connery. And today was a good crowd at Warner Park. Connery, 9:30. Not tomorrow, Thursday. And then on Friday, 9:30 at Warner Park. And Connery as well. And it is all up for grabs. Anything can happen. Anguilla, they lost 1. St. Kitts, they've won 2. Antigua and Barbuda, they have won 3. So they have St. Kitts and Nevis to play. That is the last match for them. So I'm just looking to get the points tables so we could give you an idea who is up front and who is behind and who have an opportunity. Okay, here we are. Oh no, not here we are, but it's really interesting with the competition. Antigua, they are in first place with 6 points from their 3 victories. Remember, they have 5 teams playing, and therefore each team will be playing 4 matches. And St. Kitts and Nevis, they have 4 points from 2 matches. Anguilla, they have 4 points from 2 matches as well. So it is going to be interesting who is going to be winning and who is going to be in the finals for this competition. But we have 2 days to figure that out. That is going to be an interesting conclusion to this competition. And we must thank the St. Kitts Cricket Association for hosting this competition. And we must thank the Leeward Islands Cricket Board for putting on this competition. And it's important, this competition coming on, because the West Indies 50 over is going to be coming up in a few weeks' time. So it's going to be a challenge to pick this team. But if you look at the points, Antigua and Barbuda, they've won all 3 matches. They have a perfect record. They have 12 points. St. Kitts and Nevis in second. They've won all 2 matches. They have 8 points. Anguilla, they're in third with 4 points. Played 3, win 1, and lost 2. Nevis, they've lost all 2 matches. They are in fourth with a net run rate of negative 0.783. Combined Islands, they are in fifth, lost their 2 matches as well, and they have a very hefty net run rate, negative 5. Well, sorry, not in the positive, in the negative. Negative 5.517 runs net run rate. Whereas St. Kitts, they have a healthy 3.652 by virtue of winning that game in 18.2 overs. Whereas the net run rate of Antigua and Barbuda, 1.788. Antigua and Barbuda having one more match to play, and that is St. Kitts versus St. Kitts. So had Anguilla won that game today, it meant that Antigua would have only been on 8 points with 1 game to go. And Anguilla would have been on 8 points, similar to St. Kitts, with 1 game to go as well. But that was not to be. But it is still open up. A lot of things could still happen here. Because like I said, the Combined Islands, they're going to play Anguilla on Thursday, 9:30, and that's at Connery, and that's battle at the bottom, while Nevis will play St. Kitts, second will play fourth, and we know that tension, that fight, that venom always happens between St. Kitts and Nevis. So I think that is going to be exciting, it's going to be tremendous. And then on Friday, the big day, Combined Islands will play against Nevis. Currently, Combined Islands, they're 5th, Nevis are 4th. So, we don't know how that is going to go. But Antigua, they're going to come up against St. Kitts at Warner Park on Friday. And then again, too, we know the rivalry that exists between St. Kitts and Antigua and Barbuda. And it's a triangular rivalry. We're talking about St. Kitts versus Nevis, St. Kitts versus Antigua, Antigua and Barbuda versus Nevis, anytime those three countries play, it's a lot of bacchanal, a lot of problems. It's exciting cricket. So we encourage you to go on out. And we're going to go to a break right now, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to give you some more information in terms of who are the leading run scorers and wicket takers, etc. So stick and stay. Don't go away. And remember, you can call in 466-0989, 662-0989, or you can WhatsApp me, 668-2055. And we'll be back with more on the ball for you in just a short moment after this break. Stick and stay. Don't go anywhere.
Los niños tienen derecho a vincularse con los padres que les dieron la vida.
Sokozo presents Showcase. Is a brand new show. It's an open mic edition for the artists. You can come and showcase your talent, where you can sing, do what you feel like, freestyle. If you want to be a singer from how long, but don't get the push nor the courage, this is the show for you. Every first Saturday, every month, we're going to be doing a show for the artists them. This is what the open mic edition is all about. Host Taslim, aka DJ Raspy of Tough House Sound, and Scratchy Bama. We don't know. Sokozo 98.9 with FM. Sokozo Showcase. Every first Saturday, every month. Sokozo presents Showcase Artist Thing 98.9.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune into On The Ball, a weekly talk show which is on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On The Ball with Troy Biff Mills on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball. Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune into On The Ball, a weekly talk show which is on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On The Ball with Troy Biff Mills on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
Found the sound 99.9.
Welcome back. Welcome back to On The Ball here at WinFM 98.9 with your host, Troy Biff Mills. On The Ball heard every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. on WinFM 98.9. We not only bring you the stats, but we have discussions. We invite your calls. You can call us at any point. You can call now, 466-0989 if you've been to the games to look at what's happening. Share your view, 466-0989, 662-0989. You can WhatsApp me, 668-2055. And of course, if you are outside the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, you have to prefix that with 1869. And we encourage you in the corporate community to come on board and support On The Ball at WinFM 98.9, be it wholly, partially, be it permanently, be it for a period of time, 3 months, 6 months. Of course, it's your choice. Give us a call at WinFM 98.9, 466-9586, and our marketing department will be glad to sit with you and come up with a solution to help to drive customers through those by your advertisement on WinFM 98.9. It's now 8:32. We're heading up on the last leg. We have a little bit of football to touch, but still on Leeward Islands senior men 50 overs cricket. If we go to the leaderboard in terms of who leading with runs and football, runs and wickets, I'm going to give the first 10. Coffee James of Antigua and Barbuda. He has a total of 81 runs from 3 innings, averaging 27 with a strike rate of 90.0. Larry Oden of St. Kitts is in 9th, opening the batting. 2 innings, he has 89 runs with an average, a strike rate of 72.95. He doesn't have an average, so that means he hasn't been out. Kareem Agor, captain Antigua and Barbuda, he is in 7. He has 91 runs, an average of 30.33, a strike rate of 85.85. And just in case you don't know, or you don't remember, you aren't aware how the averages for the batsmen, how that comes about. It's your aggregate, your total number of runs divided by how many times you were out. So, for example, if you batted 3 times and you were out 3 times and you made a total of 45 runs, well, let me use a different figure. Let's say you made 60 runs. You batted 3 times, you're out 3 times, you made a total of 60 runs, whether it's a 50, a naught, and a 1 or whatever, but your aggregate is 60 runs. So we divide your aggregate, your total number of runs scored, by the number of times you were out. So since you were out 3 times, your average will be 20 so far. However, if you were not out on one of those occasions, we still divide the number by your aggregate runs with the number of times you were out. So if you're only out twice, it therefore means 60 divided by 20, you have an average of 30. If you were out 1 time, then your average becomes 60. 60 divided by 1. If by chance you were not out at all, mathematics won't allow you to say 60 divided by 0 and get an answer. You're going to get infinity. So that is perhaps why Larry Oden doesn't have an average. And we have in 7th position Ross Powell of Nevis. 2 innings, he had 95 runs. And his average is 47.5. His strike rate 70.9. Avishka Sukaram of the Combined Virgin Islands, he's in 6th. He had 2 innings, scored 100 runs, one of them being a 90s, an average of 50. His strike rate 84.75. And Ashan Hodge of Anguilla, he's in 5th. Batted 3 times with an aggregate of 103. His average is 34.33 with a strike rate of 67.32. Mikhail Louis of St. Kitts, he only batted twice. Because St. Kitts only played 2 matches so far, he has an aggregate of 107, so he's in 4th. He's averaging 53.5 with a strike rate of 140.79. Chesney Hughes of Anguilla, who got a big half century today, he batted 3 times for his 119 runs aggregate, averaging 39.67 with a strike rate of 100.85. Joel Andrew Antigua and Barbuda in number 2. This is the young wicket keeper. He kept the first match. I think he kept the second match for Antigua as well. So he's batted 3 times. He has an aggregate of 125. And he also has an average of 125. So it means that he came not out twice. He was only out once. So his average is 125 with a strike rate of 162. And that seems to be the healthiest strike rate so far. And leading the pack in terms of aggregate, Tyrone Williams Jr. of Antigua and Barbuda, the opener. He has had 3 innings with 153 runs. Remember, he was 125 not out. And 125 not out. The only century so far. Average of 71.50, strike rate of 106.72. Now, how this strike rate works is the number of runs you scored divided by the number of balls you faced. So, for example, let's say you score 100 runs, and you, how is it? 100 runs and you scored it in, let's say, 200 balls, you have a strike rate of 0.50 or 50, sorry. But if the other way around, 200 runs in 100 balls, you have a bigger strike rate indeed. So that's the batting. In terms of the bowling, and we look at the top 10 again. Acadiento Willett of Nevis. 2 innings, he has had 3 wickets so far. Economy rate of 6.11, an average of 18.33. And let me, a little education. What does economy rate mean? What does average mean? The average means the number of runs for the wickets. So basically, every time he gives up 18.33 runs, he takes a wicket. The economy rate now is the total number of runs divided by the number of overs. So if you bowl 10 overs and you gave up 50 runs, you have an economy of 5.0, 5 runs per over, technically. Jadel Richardson of Anguilla in 9th, 3 wickets, 5.31 the economy rate, the average 33.33. Ashley White from Anguilla, he's in 8th, 3 innings, 4 wickets, economy 6.38, average 29.75. Jawaki Joseph, the opener from Antigua, 4 wickets, economy 5.75, average 37.5. Jerickson Louis of St. Kitts, he's in 6th, 2 innings, 4 wickets, economy 5.5, average 11. Tariq Newton of St. Kitts, he's the left arm bowler. And I must say, Jerickson Louis, he is the youngest of 4 Louis brothers. All 4 played cricket, but I understand one of them gave it up at some younger age. So 3 of them are playing cricket right now. You have Jeremiah Louis, the eldest of all 3, the bowling all-rounder perhaps. I think he was really a bowler who has been coming on with the batting. You have Michael Louis, the opener, and Michael used to do some leg spin at some point, and persons even wonder when they were in England why they didn't give him a chance when England was just piling on runs. Give him a few overs, 1 or 2 overs with his right arm leggy. And Jerickson Louis, who is really the genuine all-rounder of all 3, and he is the youngest. So Tariq Newton, he is 5th. He is from St. Kitts, 4 wickets in 2 matches, 2 innings, 3.14 the average, the economy with an average of 11. Tristan Hanley of St. Kitts, he has 4 wickets from his 2 innings with an economy rate of 2.91, averaging 8. Karima Gore, the captain of Antigua and Barbuda, is 3rd with 5 wickets from 3 innings, economy 4.67, average 21. Kadeem Henry of Antigua and Barbuda, he is the gentleman who bowls left arm spin and right arm spin. It's the first time I'm seeing this. I guess we call it, he's ambidextrous. Can use, well, I don't know if he can bat left, but he bats right, he opens the batting, but he actually bowls right arm spin and left arm spin. And he used it to good effect. He was bowling the left arm spin to the right-handers and the right arm spin to the left-handers. The question is, I wondered if he entertained the thought of switching it. Bowling right arm to the right-handers and left arm to the left, just for a few balls. I think that would perhaps confuse the batsman a bit. So he's second with 6 wickets from his 2 innings, economy rate of 4.47 and an average of 12.67. And leading the charge, leading the pack with wickets, Dimitri Adams of Anguilla. He opens the bowling. Well, he opened the bowling as in bowled the first ball, first over. And he is 6 wickets from 3 innings, economy rate of 4.3, an average of 21.5. So he is doing wonderful at the moment in terms of the fielding and catching and dismissals. We have, let me give the top 5. Darren Benter of Antigua and Barbuda. And he has been doing some keeping. He kept wicket today. 3 dismissals, 1 catch. Jamal Hamilton, he has had 3 catches. Jalil Cap, the wicketkeeper, 3 dismissals, 1 catch. And that's going to be 2 stumping. Anaje Amory, 4 catches. Terence Ward, he has 4 dismissals, 3 catches, and perhaps a run out. So that's very interesting looking at these stats. And I don't know how it's going to pan out. But at this stage, the selectors, I believe, they are going to have a task on their hands. They are, in terms of runs, they've had 1, 2, about 5 openers getting half centuries so far. 1 opener getting a century. We have had about 3, 4, 5 people in the middle getting half centuries. At the top we have Tyrone Williams. He had a century as an opener. Louis has a half century. The 2 Anguillians, they have a half century. And who am I missing? Ross Powell from Nevis, he has a half century, a high half century. Sukaram, I think it is, Sukaram from the Virgin Islands. He has a big half century, 96. Batting at number 3. Batting at down in the middle order, we have Kofi James with a half century. We have Joel Andrews with 2 half centuries. Chesney Hughes, former Leeward Island player, with another half century. So I don't know. I think the selectors are going to have a little challenge on their hands when it comes to the selection. In terms of the bowling, that's going to be interesting. Dimitri Adams, 6 wickets. He opens the bowling with spin. He has 6 wickets. Kadeem Henry, the left arm, right arm bowler. And when batsmen were told left arm round, right arm round, they were confused, want to know what's happening. So he has 6 wickets. Kareem Gore, he has a 46. He has 5 wickets. Tristan Hanley, he has 4 wickets. And I don't know. I wouldn't try to pick at this stage after 3 rounds of matches the one name. In terms of the wicket keeper, that's going to be kind of tough too. I, however, think Joel Andrew might be leading because as a wicket keeper, he has had 2 half centuries and he has had 3 dismissals, 1 catch. I suspect the other 2 would be via the run-out route. So he's keeping. Colin Tuckett from Nevis is keeping. And Jalil Clark from St. Kitts is keeping. Anguilla, I can't remember the name of the keeper. But he looked good today. And Combined Virgin Islands, I don't recall that youngster doing much. So the keeping position might be between 2-3 persons. Khalil, Joel from Antigua and Barbuda, Carlton Tuckett out of Nevis, and St. Kitts is Jaleel Clark, and he went for some games in Antigua, and he really impressed the selectors there. So if it's one time I believe it's going to be a tough thing to call, is this. Is there going to be a space for Jamal Hamilton? He hasn't kept, I don't think he has kept for the year. And I don't know. But it's a headache I don't think I want to take on. Jeremiah Louis, he has not been doing anything to jump and shout about, but he's a Leeward Islander staple, so to speak. And I don't know. I really don't know where to begin to try and discuss Leeward Islands team. If we're going to pick a 15, I don't know, or a 20. We will have to see how this thing works out and how it comes about, because it's going to be bowling, batting. It's going to be interesting. We will have to wait and see what the selectors decide. And I think the selectors are Mr. Samuel Spencer out of Antigua and Barbuda. He's the chief selector. I know there's Shane Jeffords out of St. Kitts. I am not remembering who the third selector would be. Probably the captain of the team, perhaps the coach of the team. So that is going to be an interesting, but one thing we know, whether it's Calypso, whether it's Queen Show, even in cricket, you'll hear it in football, they cheat. When we expect certain players, we as the public expect certain players to be in it, and they're not in it. Certain players you don't expect to in it, and they're in it. So no matter what happened, they cheat. They cheat if you pick some people and leave out others. They cheat if you don't pick some people and leave out others. Everybody say the same thing. But I think the batters might very well be picking themselves. However, what is key, we have 2 more rounds of matches to go. So it's all up for grabs, and the persons will have to actually put their caps on, come forward with their best foot, as we say, put their hands up and say, hey, Mr. Selector, see me here. These are my stats. You don't have a problem. You don't have to pick me because I have picked myself. Tyrone Williams, the only century so far, the leading run scorer from an aggregate. Joel Andrew, the wicketkeeper with the most runs so far. He's second in the batting average. Averages Chesney Hughes, who has not played for the Leewards in a long time. He's number 3. Mikhail, who is in number 4, and he has been opening. So perhaps it's looking like Tyrone Williams and Mikhail Louis opening the batting. Chesney Hughes batted down the order today, 4 maybe. Joel Andrew, I think he batted 4 today, but he has been batting 5 or 6. So right off the bat, perhaps these 4 top order batsmen have been picking themselves. Ross Powell, he made a 95. He's in 7th position. Kareem Agor, the captain, he's been picking up wickets. He's in 8th position. He has 91, an aggregate of 91 runs. He's 3rd in the bowling averages with 5 wickets. Do you pick him? In the Kadeem Henry, he is 2nd in the bowling averages with 6 wickets. He bowls left and he bowls right. And really, I like this bowling left and right thing. I heard about it, and it's the first time I've ever seen it, and I've been umpiring since 1984 for quite a long time. It's the first time I'm seeing a player, a bowler, bowling left and right. And in the same over, that is not that he bowls this over right-handed, right arm over, right arm round, and the next over he bowls left arm round. No. He's bowling once there's a left and right combination. He is doing that. So that's an interesting thing. And he opens the batting. Would they consider using him? He is 7th in the average with the bowling. I don't know why. This is tough. This is tough, and I'm not a selector. But it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. Kofi James again. He's in 10th in the batting. Where is he with the bowling? He is 15th, way down. He only got 2 wickets, but he's a Leeward Islander player as well. He has captained the Leeward Islands, as a matter of fact. This year, I think he captained them, albeit in the 4-day competition, but he plays both games. So would he find himself in the team? I really don't know. It's gonna be interesting. And it's not to say pace bowlers now, you say, oh, he's a pacer, so he's gonna open. No, not at all. Way back when, I think it was Richard Hadley from New Zealand in a World Cup match, way back when, he upset the whole apple cart. When he come bowling, he gentle spin, and I think he bowled the first over in the match, New Zealand against somebody. And that started the trend of, and I don't think it came so popular immediately after, but down the road, we had spinners opening the attack in all forms of cricket, and to good effect. They either contain and or picked up few wickets. So they'll have 10 overs for a little bit of runs in the teens, 20s. Some might pick up a wicket or two, or some might 3 or 4. And right now, where the concentration on, especially T20, the big thing is not really your average, your strike rate. You want to score a lot of runs with a little bit of balls. And they've broken down this T20 into science. The power play, which is from 1 to 6. How many runs you scored, how many wickets you lost. The middle overs from 7 to, I think it is 14 or 15, 7 to 14, somewhere in there. How many wickets you lost, how many runs you scored. And then from 15 to 20, the death overs. So they have it scientifically measured to say, hey, you're stronger in here. Even the bowlers, this bowler is the best power play bowler because he scores this, or this bowler is the best death over. And look at Nokia. Nokia, the South African pacer. He seems to be the best penultimate bowler around the place, bowling over number 19. And the science behind that is, at 19, with 19 overs, you're going to try to score as many runs in that over because you want to make the final over not so much runs to score. So everybody going to be trying to hit everybody out of the park for the 19th over. So there's an argument to use your strongest bowler there. And with the CPL, they've been having some issues, especially with the Patriots. In some cases, when Drake's bowling the last over, people wondering. And speaking about it, as we come to the end of the show, we cannot not talk about CPL. October the 1st. A game started at 7 p.m. Trinbago Knight Riders versus Barbados Royals in the eliminator at Province Stadium. Trinbago Knight Riders, they won the toss and they decided to bat. And they are 100 and... What am I hearing here? What am I seeing here? They are 162 for 3 from 19 overs. Wow. And Puran has his what? Third or fourth 90s. Batting at number 3, he's 91 from 60 balls. Jason Roy opening the batting 25 from 17. Kyron Pullard batted 417 from 19. Andrew Russell is batting 14 from 17. With 1 wicket to go, with Puran and Andre Russell in there, these guys could probably reach about 180 something. And in terms of the wickets, 1 wicket apiece from Mahesh, TVC Channel opening the bowling. First change, Naveem Ulhaq picking up 1. Second change, Ramon Simons picking up 1 as well. So that match is going to be interesting. Trinidad and Tobago, will they be able to knock out the Barbados Royals, or with the Barbados Royals be able to contain them? Well, to be honest, I am back in the St. Lucia Kings. Everybody believes, and I think it's with good merit, Trinidad and Tobago Knight Riders will be playing Guyana Amazon Warriors in the final. And I think that's a justified conclusion, a justified opinion. I'm back in the St. Lucia Kings. I really want them to win this one. They have been the only team not to win it. Whether they were St. Lucia Zooks or St. Lucia Kings, they are the only team, franchise, not to win the CPL. All other 5 have won it. And St. Lucia Kings, they are playing Guyana Amazon Warriors. That's going to be tomorrow at 7 p.m. So how this is going to go, whoever wins this match, the qualifier 1, Guyana Amazon Warriors, I think they are going straight into the finals. The finals is on Sunday the 6th. However, Trinidad Knight Riders and Barbados Royals, both of them have a bite. Is it the other way around? One of these teams have a bite, a second bite, 2 bites at the cherry. That is, the qualifier, you go through to the finals. So Guyana Amazon Warriors or St. Lucia Kings, whoever wins, go through to the finals. The eliminator, Trinidad and Knight Riders and Barbados Royals, whoever lose, gone home. Whoever win, got a second bite of the cherry, gonna play the Guyana Amazon Warriors in the people confuse me for that. Either Trinidad Knight Riders, Trinbago Knight Riders, or Barbados Royals will play Guyana Amazon Warriors in the qualifier 2. Because I believe St. Lucia Kings gonna beat Guyana Amazon Warriors and go straight to the finals. But hey, I'm just talking and sharing my opinion. But Friday the 4th, qualifier 2. That's the winner of the eliminator versus the loser of the qualifier. And then Sunday the 6th, that's going to be the finals. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? Time has flown away, and it is now time to, gosh, time really flies. It is really time to wrap the program up. And I'll have to vacate the seat, and I'll have to see you around next time, next week, God's spear, when we're going to be able to bring you another edition of On the Ball here at WinFM 98.9. By then, we would have had the conclusion of the Leeward Islands 50 over competition. And I remind you again, there are 5 teams playing. St. Kitts, Nevis, Anguilla, Antigua, and Barbuda, and the Combined Islands. And the Combined Islands, they are comprising Montserrat, the British Virgin Islands, as well as the U.S. Virgin Islands. St. Martin, they don't have a team at all. Now, the question is, it's not going to happen because Trinbago Knight Riders, they are playing tonight. And if they lose, that means Casey Carty from St. Martin along with Nathan Edwards from St. Martin. Would they become today's Tuesday? If they lose tonight, could they get to St. Kitts on Wednesday and play for Combined Virgin Islands in the last 2 games? I don't know. I'm just talking. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what is going to be the position, but it'll be interesting if they make it. If Trinbago Knight Riders don't make it through. But nonetheless, let us tell you about the upcoming games, who we have in, where and when. Again, we are going to be having on the 3rd of October, no games tomorrow, the 2nd. The 3rd of October at Warner Park, Nevis senior team. They're in 4th against St. Kitts. St. Kitts in 2nd. And that's at Warner Park at 9:30 p.m. And then the combined Virgin Islands, they're at the bottom of the table. They're going to be coming up against Anguilla, who are 3rd. That's at Connery. And then the final match day, Antigua and Barbuda versus St. Kitts at Warner Park on Thursday the 4th, that is, while Combined Islands will be taking on Nevis over Friday the 4th as well over at Connery. So go on out and support the go on out and support the cricket. And 2 lovely days left. No cricket tomorrow. And there wasn't a healthy crowd in the park, but at least we had a few people there and they enjoyed the excitement. Congratulations to the Leeward Islands Cricket Board and for organizing it, and the St. Kitts Cricket Association for hosting it. We cannot go without saying congratulations to them. So, who knows? I don't know if they're going to share it, and next year it's going to be in Antigua. I don't think we have any other grounds in the Leeward Islands able to hold 3 matches. If there were 6 teams, it would have been 3 matches. But I don't think, apart from Antigua and St. Kitts, Nevis maybe, I don't know, have the fields to hold 2 or 3 matches. So it might be shared for now between St. Kitts and maybe Antigua next year, or maybe because of the hospitality, people would want to come back St. Kitts, because that's the case of the West Indies on females, the national championship, the under-19s, etc. Everybody just likes the hospitality of the Kittitians when it comes to hosting. So we thank you very much for listening to On the Ball here at Win FM 98.9. We invite you to join us again next week, Tuesday, at 7 p.m. when we'll bring another edition to you. And if you have any suggestions, if you have any observations, if you have any critiquing, if you think that there's some things we could do better, you let us know. Even if you want to tell us, hey, we like what you're doing, this is good, you could give us a call. 668, send a WhatsApp, 668-2055, and I'll gladly accept your critiques. It's all about you, the listeners. It's all about how we can make the program better for you. And again, remind you that the call-in number is 4660989 and the 466-9586, the number to call if you want to come on board and sponsor the program. And we really appreciate you listening. And as I say good night from Troy Biff Mills and I slip away, I encourage you to always be positive in your thoughts, in your words, and in your actions. And see you again next week, Tuesday at 7 p.m. here on Win FM 98.9. And of course, live on YouTube